G'day mates and welcome back to Emperor. Today we are heading into the next dynasty. So last episode we finished off the Han dynasty and it looks like they have fallen into corruption and decadence yet again, as all the previous, I suppose, four, although that one really was a bit of a tutorial, but the previous three main dynasties have all fallen into decadence and despair. So this time we're going to head into the Sui Tang dynasties, which appear to be an amalgamation of a couple of different dynasties in terms of how the missions flow. I believe some of these were quite short-lived in history. But anyway, let's dive on in and see what we find on the other side.
Following 300 years of disunion and strife, Wan Di, first emperor of the House of Sui, has reunited the kingdoms of China. As a reminder of the glorious past, the emperor has decreed that the capital of Chang An, ancient capital of the great Han dynasty, but now ruined and overgrown, is to be rebuilt. Architects have drawn up plans for a monumental Grand Pagoda. It is now up to you to see the plans to fruition. In the countryside, tea plants can now be cultivated. The leaves of this marvelous plant, when carefully cured, make a delicious and aromatic drink. The popularity of and demand for this product is growing rapidly throughout the land, so ensure that adequate amounts are planted. Even the common folk, now residing in luxurious apartments, have acquired a taste for this savory beverage. A wise sage relates that the revered Bodhidharma, a heroic Buddhist figure, can be of immense help where tea is concerned. It might therefore be wise to donate generous amounts of homage to him, as his presence could be especially useful for the fledgling tea industry.
Well, we're finally growing tea. Tea, one of my favourite drinks. I've actually got a giant cup next to me right now. It will keep me going through this mission. So we're going to be growing tea. It looks like we've got another Buddhist god thingy, whatever you call them, the deity, I suppose. And we're heading back to Chang An for possibly the third time. I'm not sure, but I know we've been there a few times before. But it's the third dynasty that we're going into, I think. Might be the second. But either way, let's head in. Grand Pagoda, luxurious apartment, which I'm assuming is the next level, because we needed to unlock tea to go any higher than the ornate apartments. And of course, a couple of months of heroes. So let's dive on in and have a look at what they're going to present us with. Ruins as far as the eye can see, and yeah, I'm almost certain I built the city down here, but I suppose they've it's not based on my previous city at all, which is a little bit of a shame. This place looks like an absolute mess. I'm going to need to... I don't think I can salvage much of this at all. I'm going to have to build in here somewhere. Oh yeah. Residential wall, it's my favourite coloured wall. What resources have we got on the map? We may have iron somewhere. So we can put down a mint if required. Once we put down the palace and everything and the admin city, we can get a mint to get coins up here. We need... Where's the iron? It was down here, I think. Yeah, the iron is still down here. Maybe it's strength from before. Or maybe it's exactly the same, I'm not sure. But we've got enough trees down here as well to help us make steel from the iron. So I can throw down a bunch of these somewhere, wherever necessary, as I've done on previous missions. And that should be fairly simple. These little irrigation things are probably going to get in the way, but I'll figure out a way around it. And there's a good farmland up here. So what farm stuff can we grow? 3 food types are easy. We've got a 4th food type there, which I don't particularly like, but there'll be enough space up here to throw that stuff down. I may actually build the city up here. We can feed them off fish quite easily if it's a short distance. And oh, tea. Okay, what does tea look like? Tea goes through a tea curing shed. So I've never built this before. I've never actually done this. So I'll figure that out when I get to it. We can now throw down tea bushes and tea curing sheds, little 2x2 buildings. Useful to know. We've got clay, we've got timber and stone. Where's the stone? Where is the stone? Up here. Okay, so we've got a little stone, which will be for the monument, I'm assuming. Grand Pagoda, never built one of these either. It doesn't appear to look like we need labourers' camps, so we just need timber, stone, and possibly clay. So that should be quite easy to build. I'd like to get that into the city somewhere. So I'm going to have to figure out how to do that one. Anyway, guys, I'm going to focus on this, try to figure out what I'm doing, and I will cut back once I know how to approach it. Okay, guys, we are back, and I think we're looking at quite possibly my most complicated housing setup in a long time. I've tried to do something a little bit more, I guess, individual, a bit more unique. It's not got a lot of houses because they are currently all in... Oh, apart from that. Okay, well, I was going to say it was all in perfect harmony, but I've forgotten about that one. That was a placeholder that I've sort of built around. So in that case, I'm not going to bother with perfect harmony anymore, and I'm just going to throw down a couple of extra houses as required, because we're going to need the population big time, because there's not that many houses around. This is looking very, very nice, but it's a very inefficient usage of space. But I did want to get a couple of things set up into the city. First of all, my biggest concern was that I wanted it to look reasonably organic looking. I'm tired of sort of the same regular housing blocks laid out in a row, which I've been doing. And the second big one was that I wanted to build in this grand pagoda, and it's going to fit in there in the noble block. I was hoping to sort of get it around here, but more and more it looked like that was the ideal place to put it. So that's where it's going to go when everything is developed. Whether I need nobles or not is irrelevant at this point. I'm going to build a couple simply because I think I'll be able to level them right up with tea. We don't have drama access, so they're only going to go up to, I believe, a maximum of impressive compound, if I even go that far. I may not bother importing wares. Either way, I think we're going to have to get some food sorted somewhere, somehow. Do a lot of farming up here perhaps, but that's quite a long way away, so I may need to figure something else out. Probably do a lot of farming down here, actually. Anyway, I'll cut back once we're all sorted. Okay, trade is beginning to open up. We've got Guangzhou, Changzhou, Yen has rejected, and Chengdu has opened up. So that's pretty good. That's a lot of people going to trade with us. So we've got here, they require tea and lacquerware. I don't think we can produce lacquerware. So tea could be good if there's a large quantity. I've had a look at the value of tea, and it's about 55, so it's not hugely valuable. Had a look at placed the cash guard route down temporarily to have a look at it. So 55 per thing is not a huge amount, but it looks like a lot of people are willing to buy it. If they need tea, they need tea. Everyone's going to buy tea from me, and they all look like lands trade routes at this point, so it probably is going to... Oh no, they sell tea. Hang on, let me take that back again. You buy tea, you sell me tea, which I don't need. So I can grow a whole bunch of it and just sell it off to the various people as required. That could be an option. Could be a... Silk, of course, is going to be where the real money is, but is there anything else that's jumping out at me? Not really at all. Silk is the big one, I think. Silk and tea. What I'm going to have to focus on. The other thing to notice is that Kashgar will no longer buy carved jade. They've now replaced that with tea. So I can't do my own little trick that I was doing before in the Han Dynasty. So to that end, we're going to need to get some food in, and that'll give it a little bit more employment. We're currently on very high wages and still short of people. So let's see if I can get agriculture to a higher priority. And I want... Yeah, religion can go down for now. I need commerce as well. I just need more people, unfortunately, but we'll get some food stockpiled up and then we'll see what happens. Okay, unemployment is nice and high. People have moved in and the fish is beginning to stockpile up. So at this point, what I think I'm going to have to do is I'll throw down the food shop there, and we're going to move on to getting some farming done. Now, I'm really quite interested to see how tea goes, but I think getting food farming is a higher priority. So to that end, let's get on to, let's get it all set up down here. Now we're going to need, if I end up taxing my people, I'm going to require additional hemp farms. We don't use timber anymore. So I'm not going to need quite as much wood, I don't think, but I'm going to require more space for hemp. So I should get a couple of farms in here, I reckon. Okay, the first crops are beginning to be growing. That'll be coming in shortly, and these houses are nicely leveled up with these ones now having access to food, although not quite enough of it just yet. When the hemp and at least another type of food comes in, they'll be able to level up as far as the one that's limited by pottery, which I believe is those little brown sort of houses that come up. So it's worthwhile using some of our unemployment, which is going to increase from here on out, to start working on tea. Now, how are we going to do tea? I think what we're going to do is set up a nice big tea and silk plantation up here where it's nice and green. I can get that well irrigated from somewhere, hopefully. And then we can use getting warehouses to bring the tea down as required to level these guys up. Ceramics will come later, I think, but I'm fairly certain we're going to have requests from people for tea. I'm also certain we're going to need to look after Shen-Nong. Thankfully, it's only one dude, but the ancestor will require a good of some sort. I could probably use hemp in the near future, or even paper. Actually, paper might be a good idea. I keep forgetting about that. If I throw down a paper maker, say here somewhere, it's going to be a shit location for it, but maybe over here if I can beautify the gardens around these houses to stop them from devolving through to having industry right next to them, I can probably get some taxation in somewhere as well, which will be nice bit of income at a later date. But tea and silk, I think, are what we're going to have to work on for cash. Okay, putting down the fields for 3 of these guys. There's nearly 1,200 strings of cash. That is a shit ton of cash, but oh, it's a funny looking plant. But either way, we're going to get a hell of a lot of tea coming out. I think 3 should be more than sufficient to start with, and I can add more down if required. But I'm going to start working on getting a couple of trade routes set up. I think I can get them down here fairly nicely, and that will take care of all this tea. Okay, the food harvesters come on in. We're now up to, you can go up to 3 types of food if required. We're going to have 4 types, so we're always going to have food available of some sort. And we're now leveling up, and they require music, which I can throw down very easily, if I can find it. There we go. Music, I saved a little space there, right there for music. And that will, yep, that'll take care of all this stuff as required. Now, where is a fire in the city? Why is that burning? There's an inspector tower who cannot access the labour pool. Is because of that. Please access the labour pool now. Oh, fuck me. Okay, apparently these things block access to the labour pool. I had thought that wasn't an issue because they were working fine before. But that is somebody destroyed. Oh well. Okay, Year of the Bunny Rabbits come on quite early, but we can't get special gifts just yet because I haven't got a palace down. So let's grab an improved production yield, salt mines and millet, but possibly all crops. Hopefully all crops will gain a boost. That is going to be very, very useful to us. I also did note that tea fields can apparently burn. I suppose most fields can probably catch fire. Either way, who did I lose? I lost these guys. Throw you down, and we will continue to grow tea. I thought... Oh, you're kidding me. We lost the entire tea harvest because of that irrigation that I put up. Oh, that's kidding me. They were growing. They're about halfway done, and it looks like they lost workers when it should have been growing. So we've lost a year's worth of production of tea, but we do have at least a whole heck ton of unemployment, which I can now put into weapons production. Okay, round 2 for the tea harvest. Hopefully I don't cut off the workers this time with some stupid movement here, and that allow us to take care of everything. We do still have a worker shortage, but it's all in the industry, and that is the low priority. So the city is functioning perfectly, and the only issue that we really require is these guys to move in. This housing's all leveled up. Once they move in, then our steelworks can begin to take on full speed. So we've got the steel smelters here. Got a couple of wood dudes cutting wood over here. Should have good access and easy access for the weapons as well. These 2 here needed to be just a little bit closer away from the cliff and closer to the trees. So using a grand way here, I can give them road access even though they are 1 tile away. Okay, cash is beginning to get low, but the first tea harvest is coming in finally. We would have taken care of this last year if I hadn't stuffed up, but things are looking a little bit better. So tea is coming in, not a huge amount. Maybe more will grow, I'm not sure. I'm not actually sure how much it comes in, but it's harvesting in November. Hang on, wait, what? Hang on. Harvest in November, they're harvesting it now. I think there's multiple harvests of tea per year. That's the only conclusion I can come up with because it looks like they are growing it and harvesting at the same time. So perhaps tea harvesting is continuous, which is probably why you've got the tea available. Probably why it's sort of coming in gradually bit by bit, not like the massive harvest that you normally see from silk and the other farm goods. Well, that is a good thing to know. Unemployment is also beginning to creep up again, which is great because it'll give us the people we need to move on to ceramics and go to a higher level again. All I gotta do now is find a harmonious location for the kilns. And I guess I'll figure this one out as we go along. And here come the tea sales to save us just in time. I believe this is Kashgar. Yep, Kashgar, using the camels. They're not giving us a huge amount of cash, but it is gradually keeping us afloat. So we're low on cash, but we are now out of the shithole, so to speak. These guys have bought nearly everything. So all new tea should go to these guys here as well. So we can sell a fair bit. We can sell 48 units per year at this point. And if I can open up, if I get a bit in stockpile, I can open up yen and sell them possibly another 12, maybe a bit higher as well. We'll see how much we are actually producing. But at this point, I'm considering moving on to silk at some point in the near future, if once our cash gets more stable. Over here, I'm working on getting a military setup, which is going to be happening soon once we've got enough weapons stockpiled. Okay, Guangzhou is now buying more tea. That's very, very nice. That'll give us, was it 24 now? Which one's Guangzhou? They'll buy up to 24 per year, so we can massively increase tea production. I can throw a whole bunch more down here, but I think I will say that for silk. Tea's not proving quite as lucrative as I had thought. I thought we'd get massive big boosts of it, but it's more of just a steady trickle. Yeah, it's keeping us afloat at this point, but as we begin to move on to taxation and level our people up, I think having the tea stored in here will be more valuable to us. Okay, we're up to ornate apartments down here, and this one will get up to there once the entertainment, the acrobat gets all the way up. So we're very, very ready to finally go to I think the next level of housing, quite possibly the last one, because there are only 4 shops here. So unless they require drama access or something, we're not going to go any higher. So I'll throw down my tea shop, and they will go and they will source the tea as required. Let's just make sure they're all appetizing food. So they're going to go buy the tea, and then we'll actually get to see for the first time, dispatch, get to see what these luxurious apartments actually look like. And I'm really keen to check it out. And, well, they don't look that particularly interesting, but they do pay good cash, I would hope. Hopefully we can start to transition towards taxes. So currently, our tax income is 3,100, which is greater than our total income for the previous year. So that's going to really help us out. The stuff over here, the tea, I've thrown down another one, but it's just really not quite luxurious enough. So I'm going to, for now, I'm going to cut down to just 4 allowed to store in each one of these. And that'll mean I've got more of it in storage so that you can export tea and down to 4. And that will allow us to hopefully stockpile a bit more that we can then use for sending over and giving to these houses. Okay, nobles are beginning to move in, which is nice. They're not particularly well harmoniously placed. I haven't done quite as well as I'd like to in this mission in regards to harmony. Let's have a quick look at the feng shui. I mean, it's pretty good for the most part, but my design wasn't quite as robust as I'd liked. I tried to make it look more organic. So in terms of game mechanics, pure game mechanics, I'm not as good as I could be. I think down here is perfect. Yeah, so most of it is pretty good, but there's a couple that just aren't quite there. In the end though, really what I'm trying to get is a nice, robust, messy looking city. So I think we are achieving that quite well. Either way, cash is low, but I think we're ready to head on and build this grand pagoda. So I'm going to see what it requires, which at this point is fairly simple. A little bit of stone, a couple of masons. So I think we can begin ticking over on that quick smart. Okay, we've discovered a place called Lhasa. Let's have a quick look at Lhasa. They are out west and they're not doing anything. So I guess, I don't know, maybe they'll come of age or something. They'll grow up and we'll be able to interact with them. But at the time being, nothing much is happening. What can we do up here? Nothing there at all. So we are just gradually getting the resources that we need into here, producing stone far, far over here, and using a getting warehouse to bring that over gradually, bit by bit. They've got a hell of a long way to travel though. They're going to come essentially all the way over, and we'll see if they can make it or not. Okay, big earthquake. Let's see how much damage this thing's doing. Unfortunately, it sounds like a lot. Oh shit, okay, there's all our food gone, and a lot of our houses and employment. Fuck, I hate earthquakes. They're not particularly fun, and all I mean is I just have to go through and rebuild everything. Let's have a look at what's been destroyed. So, all that stuff stored up has been wiped out, so I've lost my warehouse with all my goods. Nothing over here was done, thankfully. Lost a couple of woodcutters. One of those, not too much down there. Really, the real damage is up here. I lost my entire stock of food. They are currently growing a few of them, but it's not going to be. It's going to be another year before we get all that food back. So let's try to gradually rebuild. Okay, everything appears to be rebuilt. I don't think I've missed anything in any of here or the little satellite areas. They've all been taken care of. Problem, of course, is that we're now 600 workers in the hole with a very high wage rate. So I need to start getting this sorted. Industry's basically turned off. Government can turn off as well. Monuments can also turn off. And military can go as well. So with that, I think I have everything well and truly sorted. Agriculture's on, commerce is on, safety's on, and of course entertainment and religion. That will allow my housing to level back up, and then I can start to activate the other ones as required. So taxation and so on and so forth. Trade should continue to happen because I think that's agriculture and that's commerce. So we are sorted there. Now I was hoping on spending that money to build some silk, which was what I was cutting into when the earthquake happened. So I think I can get probably 3 silk farms along here and some processing tucked away somewhere, and we can use that to trade off for additional cash, as well as leveling these guys up. Of course they need a peel now, but level these guys up and see how we go from there. Okay, the industry has turned back on, so we are... Happy New Year. We are looking... Excuse me, hiccups. We are looking reasonably good here. Things are leveling up to nearly maximum again. They just have to bring in all the people, which will take a little while. Food is stable. We've got enough goods here to tide us over. Tea, the price increases mean nothing in this game, as far as I'm aware. So things are looking pretty good. Now we do have... Why has the stone not been delivered? We've got lots of it. Maybe we'll need to wait for that getting warehouse to finish. Okay, Chang An is demanding silk. Now, I would have had that available by now if the earthquake hadn't happened. Let's get onto that as quickly as we can, because, again, like in typical fashion, the earthquakes are beginning to stuff me up. So I can throw down... Let's actually put you there. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We'll get those there, 2 of them to start with, and then we can sort this out as required. Okay, Chang An is still demanding silk, but we haven't had our first harvest yet. That will be coming in June. Hang on. It must be harvesting right now. So we're harvesting the silk now. That'll be dropped off to these guys here. We can begin to stockpile it. So hopefully we can produce 5 silk within the next year and not piss them off too much. Alrighty, the first silk is coming in, but it's highly unlikely we're going to get there in time because we didn't quite get enough of it. So it's going to be 1 more year. They're going to be very pissed off, and the shit might hit the fan. So to that end, I'm going to need to throw down a palace somewhere. It's not really going to fit in there nice and harmoniously, so I'm going to throw the palace down... Where can I throw the palace down? It's not going to be built into the city quite as much as I would like, but I'll find somewhere for it that'll look good. Okay, things are proceeding quite nicely, but in the interests of getting a better worker base, I've thrown down a 3rd block here. It's these blocks here really are only partial half blocks. They just don't have the number of houses. I've gone for probably a far less efficient build, but that's sort of something I'm going to try to do from now on. I'm going to try to build less efficiency, but more beautifully from here on out. Probably try to learn from what I've built here. I think there are better ways of doing this, but we'll see how we go anyway. Okay, the silk is finally ready for Chang An. It's probably a little bit too late. They may still get relatively pissed off, so to that end, I'm going to consider throwing down an additional fort. We'll make this one a cavalry fort, and I suppose we'll get this one over here somewhere. I'm very happy how the Grand Pagoda is going. It looks like it's nearly done in terms of structure. I think that is the top of it. So they're just going to finish up the carpenter here, and then I believe they'll start putting the ceramic stuff into it. So I may need additional clay people. Let's get onto those and get them thrown down. I'm not really happy that those are Gift of Tiger, thank you. Not very happy that those are non-harmonious, but we'll get the extra 1 or 2 down there. So it's looking very, very nice. We've taken all the scaffolding off pretty much, and it's going to be a ceramics job from here on out. So we'll get that clay built up in here, and hopefully it's a quick walk towards the end. And the masons have nearly finished their final phases here. It looks like we've got some impressive compounds all nicely leveled up here as well. So they need drama access to go further, which we do not have. So it is the highest level of noble housing with this great, mighty grand pagoda right smack bang in the center. Quite a nice looking monument. And I'm just impressed that it doesn't require dirt from labourers' camps. I'm sick of all those monuments that just are very much variations of the same. And the grand pagoda is complete. I thought they would have probably put some nice beautiful tiles around the outside, but that looks like that is it. Now why have you leveled down acupuncturist? You should have acupuncturist access. Maybe I can throw another acupuncturist over here. We'll see if that works. And there we go, nicely leveled up. This one over here is not going to level up simply because these things here are too close and these walls are not quite powerful enough to stop it completely. Happy New Year. Kashgar buying fewer amounts of silk. But at this point, we're not producing enough silk anyway to completely overwhelm them. Why have you arrived? Aha, because you're so happy. Excellent. So that will keep ticking along with Months of Heroes, which only need 2 more to do, and I've won. So this has actually been a fairly quick mission. Just to give you an idea, though, what's going on here? Looks like I don't have enough fishing. Oh well, the city is poorly made and is beginning to collapse a little bit under its own weight, but that's half the fun at this point of the game, is trying to keep things all together as I push on 2 more months until victory. And there we go, 1 more month until victory, and the city is looking, I think, absolutely spectacular. Every single square inch has been used, every little square filled in with gardens, and the majority of the gardens are actually doing something. They are helping to keep these guys leveled up simply because of all the industry here in the center. So it's looking quite nice. Once these guys here are level up again, they require a bit more food, but it's only the fish issue that's keeping them down. Once that's all done, I think it's going to be probably one of my better cities, despite being highly inefficient. It's probably the most beautiful one I've built so far. Anyway, let's push onwards to victory.
You have done a marvelous job, humble administrator. Once again, the rich splendors of Chang An shine brightly along the riverway. A striking grand pagoda now boldly shapes the skyline, and luxurious apartments are crowded with citizens, imbibing the tasty delights of the tea leaf. Emperor Wan Di is most pleased. He has noticed, however, that the crowded life of the big city is starting to wear on you. Perhaps a new job in the country would be just the thing to lift your spirits.
Well, there you go. It is starting to wear on me ever so slightly. I am definitely not a city boy. But as I said before, probably not my most efficient city, but definitely one of my more beautiful ones. I think I've learnt something that I'll be able to take into future more organic builds. I think I can... I need to keep the distances down that people are traveling. So having a more centralized hub of distribution is good, but I do like these little way paths through the center that people can go through and access with the shortcuts. For example, bringing the, you may be able to see it just above the thing here. I'll try not to zoom in too much at the end, but that is just a nice little shortcut that allows them to go down to the central distribution area when dropping off pottery rather than going right around the back way. And it does look very, very natural and built into the city. Anyway, guys, if you do indeed enjoy these organic sort of cities, smash that thumbs up button. Let me know in the comments section what you think I can do, how I can improve. And as always, guys, take care, and I'll see you around.